Over the years, gamers found many new and fun ways to complete a game. One of those fun ways is completing a pacifist run, which means that you try to kill as less possible enemies, like avoiding them or letting your teammates kill them. This type of gameplay was made popular because of YouTuber Dark Viper AU and his Grand Theft Auto 5 pacifist run. I obviously knew that you can't fully complete the Hitman 2016 Trilogy without killing anyone, but I wanted to see how many targets could die because of other circumstances. So today I will be covering the full Hitman 2016 Trilogy and seeing how many targets actually could die pacifist. The rules are quite complicated. I see a pacifist kill as a kill that you can set up but don't execute. So shooting someone in the head isn't a pacifist kill. But taking Mumbai for example, if you adjust the scope of the rival assassin sniper rifle and set Rangan in the perfect location, rival assassin shoots Rangan and you will get a death by proxy. I only wanted to see if you could eliminate the target's pacifist, so killing a guard or another NPC is fine. Lame kills like loosening valves and stuff are way too easy and I really wanted to challenge, but there's a catch to that. In most maps you have very little to no ways to actually kill your targets by being pacifist. I will play on the professional difficulty. At the end of the mission I will give a yes, meh or no rating based on how the targets are eliminated. I only have to eliminate the targets, so I don't necessarily have to complete the mission. I can't drag the targets all the way across the map, because that is kinda cheating. This isn't really a rule, so I won't put it on a list, but I will go over some intel at the beginning of each mission. Beginning with the prologue of Hitman, we obviously skip the arrival because that mission doesn't have any targets, so we're instead looking at the Freeform Training. As most of you already know, the prologue of Hitman are simulated assignments to see if the ICA agents are ready for field duty. In Freeform Training, you see yourself infiltrating a yacht with the objective to eliminate Calvin Ritter, who was part of a group of thieves. In the beginning, I take a mechanic disguise and enter the yacht through the garage area. The problem with this mission and the pacifist challenge is that there are very little ways to actually eliminate Calvin. The only ways that I discovered that are either in secluded areas or accidents are eliminated Calvin by drowning, by breaking down a life raft, or getting him in a secluded area by taking Terry Norfolk's disguise and having the private meeting with Ritter. So my conclusion to this mission is no, you can't eliminate Calvin Ritter by being pacifist. The final test is the second and last mission of the prologue. The final test is the last exam to join the ICA. In the final test you find yourself infiltrating a military hangar in Cuba. Your target is Jasper Knight. This mission is fairly easy to do pacifist, which most people already know how to do. You go to the reception desk to pick up the projector slides and put them in the projector. The KGB officer will notice the projector slides are in the projector and is going to tell Knight. Once Knight arrives, you wait for the KGB officer to also arrive and go aside to turn off the fuse box. Knight thinks it's loose wiring and is going to check the wires. The KGB officer is going aside to turn back on the fuse box, which electrocutes Knight. The Showstopper is the first mission of the 2016 Hitman. 47 went on his first contract to Paris, France to eliminate Viktor Novikov, the owner of the Sanguine fashion show, and Dalia Margolis, former supermodel turned spy master. The first thing I tried was the code 17. I poisoned the sushi rolls with the emetic rat poison and waited for Novikov and his guard. The guard turned sick and I took him out in the toilet. I reported the code 17 and Margolis and Novikov will run to the museum director's office. The only thing I could really do was drop a chandelier on their heads, but of course that isn't pacifist, so the code 17 was a no-go. The second thing I tried was Novikov's appointment with Max Decker to destroy the evidence the FSB has against Novikov. Once Novikov arrived, I could blow up the whole pavilion, which wasn't ideal because I would die too, and that wasn't pacifist. I could wait for after the meeting and push Novikov in the river, but just no. If I waited for too long, Novikov went back to the building and do the things he originally did. The last thing I tried was the helmet Kruger appointment with Margolis. So I took out the helmet, called Margolis, walked the catwalk without makeup because I forgot, and went to the upper floor. In the office upstairs there were two things I could do. It was dropping a chandelier, which didn't work, and poisoning a wine glass. So like I said, I didn't want to trigger the fireworks to blow up Dahlia because of illusion stealth, because when the fireworks are triggered, Dahlia is going to smoke and step next to the gas lamp and explode. So no, you can't eliminate Viktor Novikov and Dahlia Margolis while being pacifist. World of Tomorrow is next. You are sent to Italy to eliminate bioengineer Silvio Caruso, ether scientist Francesca De Santis, and destroy the DNA-specific virus. For this challenge I only have to eliminate Caruso and De Santis, so I do not necessarily have to destroy the virus. I thought that I would begin with De Santis because that was the easiest of the two. My best bet was the DNA prototype, so I threw it on the desk and went to the ICA safe house to pick up an explosive golf ball. When I was walking to the safe house, De Santis died because of the prototype, so I made a long walk to the safe house and back to the mansion garden. I put the explosive golf ball between the other golf balls, and a few moments later Caruso would strike the explosive golf ball and would explode. I kind of have mixed feelings about the ratings. I would give them both a yes because I technically didn't kill them. Caruso struck the golf ball himself and De Santis died because of a prototype someone else made. In a gilded cage in Morocco, killing Klaus, Hugo Strandberg and Reza Zaydan. Strandberg was a fraud who took millions from the Moroccan people and was going on a trial until Zaydan's soldiers rescued him. First I tried giving Strandberg a nice little massage, so I took out the guard and the measure and went to Strandberg. He escorted me to the massage room I think, and the only thing I could do there was snap his neck or just give him a massage, which were both non-ideal. So I went to the underground tunnel, grabbed the APC password, put the fire alarm and escorted Strandberg to the shoe shop. Strandberg went from there to the school where Zaydan is located, and I waited for Zaydan to also come inside. When Strandberg and Zaydan were outside, I fired up the APC and I blew the whole thing to pieces, which eliminated Zaydan and Strandberg. So my rating for this one is both meh. I still needed to take the password for the APC and actually needed to push a button myself to make the APC fire. Technically I didn't kill them, but I would still give a meh rating for all the things I had to set up. In Club 27 you're in Bangkok with the objective to kill singer Jordan Cross and lawyer Ken Morgan. Cross murdered his girlfriend some time ago and the Cross family had a legal defense by Ken Morgan. So beginning with Morgan, I went to the floor with the exterminator and took out the guard, exterminator and staff member and put them in a room where they wouldn't be found. I disguised myself as the exterminator, let the hotel manager know that I'm ready to exterminate the studio, so Jordan Cross went down to the atrium. I quickly disguised myself back to the staff and let Morgan know his suite was ready, and I just walked in circles until Cross arrived. Cross would flip out seeing Morgan was there too, presuming his father sent Morgan to spy on Cross. Cross, Morgan and their bodyguards would walk to Morgan's suite to talk. After we arrived at the suite, Morgan and Cross would send their bodyguards away, and after one heated argument, Cross was so angry that he pushed Morgan off the balcony. There's one down, one to go. So Cross was next. I disguised myself as the studio member and picked up the Bresson MD2 mic that had a notorious production error. I went to the studio, turned up the voltage and made the perfect mix. Cross would come down to the studio and hear the mix and wanted to do the whole thing. So the band started playing, and as soon as Cross would sing, he would get electrocuted by the microphone. I would give them both a yes rating because they are obviously pacifist. Colorado, USA. You find 47 infiltrating a militia stronghold. To eliminate terrorist Sean Rose, interrogator Ezra Burke, Interpol analyst Penelope Graves, and gunrunner Maya Pavarti. The best course of action was an Easter egg where everybody around you would go up in flames. So I put on the scarecrow disguise, go to the water tower, ring bell 1, 2, 3 and 4, and the secret was triggered. The only thing I needed to do was walk near my targets. I wanted to get the vroom vroom vroom, ding 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 exit,
Rum, rum, rum. Ding, ding, ding.
but it didn't trigger for me, even if I did get everything right, which was very disappointing. I'm guessing it had to do with the Easter egg, but that's a shame. I'm going to give them all a yes, cause I only needed to shoot some bells. The last mission of Hitman 1 is Situs Inversus, but not the last mission for me, because I still have 14 left to do. In Situs Inversus, you are in the Gamma hospital in Hokkaido. You need to eliminate Eric Soders, an ICA agent who has secretly been colluding with Providence, and Providence lawyer Yuki Yamazaki. Soders was easy enough. I spawned in the morgue, took out the 2 morgue doctors, the 1 bodyguard in the security room, the other 2 morgue doctors, and the 2 bodyguards watching over Eric Soders' donor heart. This was very easy, because I just needed to destroy the donor heart, and that's it. Even Diana gives confirmation that we did this pacifist.
With Soders on the operating table, and no hope of getting a second right-sided heart in time, you have effectively killed him without laying a hand on him.
Yuki Yamazaki was another story though. I could poison her with a deadly fugu fish, or even let her have a cable car accident, but overall I have not found any way to kill Yuki Yamazaki pacifist. So the ratings are a yes for Soders and a no for Yamazaki. Nightcall is the first mission of Hitman 2, and already I knew you couldn't do this one. So your objective is to eliminate Elmer Reinhardt, one of the Shadow Client's lieutenants. First I triggered the lockdown to see if anything would happen, but the only thing I could do was poison the ventilation or shoot open the roof of the banning room and kill Reinhardt. Waiting wasn't a valuable option, because there aren't any pacifist opportunities. So no, Reinhardt cannot be taken out pacifist. So, the finish line. This one was an interesting one. So in the finish line you need to take out 2 more Providence members, Robert and Sierra Knox. The map is very cool because Sierra Knox is in a car, and most of the times I would just wait for the end of the race for Sierra to step out of the car, but not this time. So, beginning with Sierra, I spawned as a cowboy mechanic and took a Grand Stack mechanic disguise. I walked all the way back to the beginning of the map to infiltrate the security hut, throw a point distraction to take a security disguise, so I could easily walk to the desk with a safe code on it. And open a safe with the car bomb and Robert Knox's phone number. I changed back to the mechanic disguise and went all the way back to the Kronstadt garage to plant the car bomb under Sierra's car at the pit stop. I walked all the way back to the beginning to call Robert to say that I planted the bomb under the common car, but in reality I put it under his daughter's car. He told me to meet him at the overpass, in which I did. I gave him the car bomb trigger, and a few moments later he blew up his own daughter. So for Robert, I originally thought of killing him with the palace robot, but I didn't. I wanted to try if he could blow himself up. So first I thought in order to trigger the event that is calling Robert, you first needed to have put an explosive under Sierra's car, with any explosive. But instead, you needed to have planted the car bomb specifically somewhere in the map. What I mean with this is that you have only the remote, and not the bomb itself. So I again was a cowboy mechanic, changed it to the Kronstadt one, walked to the security hut, got the security outfit, picked up the bomb and Robert's number, broke into the overpass, planted the bomb in the trash can behind him, and got to the payphone. I called Robert, met him at the overpass, and saw the hilarious scene where Robert blew himself over the railing. So yes, it is possible to eliminate both Robert and Sierra Knox with a bomb that Robert triggered. In Three-Headed Serpent you need to eliminate cartel leader Rico Delgado. I don't know what Andre Martinez is, and I don't know either about Jorge Franco. Delgado was first on my list, and I thought the statue was the most pacifist option. I took out one guard at the statue, grabbed myself a range and sabotaged the statue. Woke up band member 1, 2 and 3 and disguised myself as one. After one long waiting time, Delgado came onto stage and did a boring speech, and revealed the statue which dropped onto him. Franco was next, so I absolutely destroyed his flower, and he went to pick up another one on the cliff. In a very missed opportunity, I tapped Franco on his shoulder. He loses his balance, but 47 decides to give him a push. Really? Martinez wasn't much better, because every kill was non-pacifist, but I did blow her up with a parcel, but I died too. Franco and Martinez are a no for me, but Delgado is a meh, because sabotaging something isn't really pacifist, but he dropped the statue onto himself, which was enough for me to give it a meh. Chasing a Ghost is by far my favorite Hitman 2 map, because of the kills. They are just so freaking original. But we need to find it and eliminate Pirate Wazir Kale, Crime Lord Vanya Shah, and Bollywood filmmaker Dawood Rangan. So the first thing I tried in this mission was finding the Kashmirian, who came in real clutch. The Kashmirian is a rival assassin in Mumbai, and Dawood Rangan and Vanya Shah have put on a hitch on each other. So if you get Rangan and Shah in the right places and adjust the sniper scope of the Kashmirian, he will do the killing for you. So first I went to the spot where the Kashmirian could kill Rangan and adjusted the scope. Then I infiltrated the Rangan tower and picked up a tube of paint somewhere and placed it in the artist studio. The artist would notice the tube of paint and the artist would call over Rangan and the Kashmirian would shoot Rangan. But then my game crashed, so I had to do it all over again and then I could go further. The Kashmirian would bring over his sniper rifle to the other spot where he could kill Shah, so I needed to get her in the right spot. So I disguised myself as a new lonely foreman and introduced myself to Shah. After a little while, the Kashmirian would shoot Shah. But then I still needed to kill the Maelstrom, so I restarted and only let the Kashmirian kill Rangan. As soon as he took the shot, I would choke him out. Then I called Shah to confirm Rangan is down, and Shah would meet up with Kale at the train station thingy where she is. I grabbed a lever somewhere and placed it by the tracks. I waited for Shah and Kale to meet up and I switched the tracks, to which the train came crashing through the station and killed Shah and Kale. I would give Rangan a Shah yes, but Kale a meh, because I still needed to change the tracks, and you can even see the train driver jumped out at the last moment. In another life, you find yourself in a nice suburb in Whittleton Creek, and you need to eliminate First Constant, Janus, and Nolan Cassidy, who is protecting Janus. First I went to the muffin stand to take out the server and take his outfit. Then I placed a muffin and poisoned it with emetic poison that the real estate broker would eat. He went to throw up somewhere, so I subdued him and took his outfit. Before going to Cassidy though, I went to the basement with the vault and placed my gun on the floor before enabling the security system. So my plan was for Cassidy to see the gun and tell his guard. Then I would bump into Cassidy near the vault so he wouldn't disable the security system, and then I waited for the guard to come close and trigger the explosives. Here's how that turned out.
We needed to Nolan Cassidy is down.
Yes, Nolan Cassidy committed suicide. I think his AI was confused because of the gun and thought, the gun on the floor must mean that the security system is disabled. So that was pretty funny. But I still had Janus. I didn't get my hopes up, because I kinda already knew that Janus was near impossible. I mean, I could blow him up with an explosive from the ground, or have the doctor's appointment with him, but that didn't help at all. So yes, you can eliminate Cassidy, Pacifist, but Janus on the other hand, not. I knew the rest of Hitman 2 was near impossible, and the Art Society was no exception. So you're sent to the Eye of Scale to eliminate Providence operatives Sophia and Zoe Washington. So let me tell this right off the bat, Sophia is impossible. I already knew this and I didn't even try to eliminate her. So I grabbed 10 commemorative tokens and disguised myself as an initiate. I knocked on the door and gave the tokens to the guard. So I was hooked up on a kind of electrocution chair. Zoe would also enter the room and ask me questions, and if I answered truthfully, I didn't get shocked, but if I lied, I did. So I lied. Every time I lied, Zoe came closer until the voltage was all the way up and Zoe was standing in front of me in a puddle of water. So I lied again, and it electrocuted Zoe. So yes, Zoe could be eliminated pacifist, but no, Sophia can't. In the Golden Handshake you need to eliminate bank manager Athena Savelis and obtain information about the Providence partners. First I needed to have a good disguise, so I turned off the security lock in IT and took out the guard and picked up the screwdriver and keycard. I went to the top floor in Athena's office, I waited for the perfect time and took out the 2 guards who were still in the room, and sabotaged the window, and after 1 minute or so Athena went back in the office, leaned on the window and fell through. I'm going to give this one a meh because I still sabotaged the window myself, just like the Rico Delgado statue. The last resort is the final mission of Hitman 2 and you find yourself on a tropical island. Your targets are Tyson Williams, founder of Haven Island, Lyudmila Petrova, his ex-girlfriend I believe, and Stephen Bradley, a computer expert. So Petrova is the only target that has somewhat of a chance to be taken out pacifist. So first you need to infiltrate the hut with Jason Portman and take him out. Then go into the bathroom and remove the safety pin from the hatch. Wait for Petrova to come inside and she will fall down the hatch. So 2 no's and 1 meh, because I still sabotaged the hatch myself and I'm just going to give it the Rico Delgado treatment. On top of the world is the first Hitman 3 mission in which you are in the Burj Al Ghazali, the tallest building in the game. Your targets are Calra Ingram and Marcus Stuyvesant. They are 2 of the 3 Providence partners. So beginning with Ingram, I would go to the maintenance room next to the server room and take out the maintenance worker. Then I would make a distraction in the room and take out the guard who comes to investigate and take his disguise. Then I went to the little guard room and entered the code for the safe 6927 and grabbed the evacuation keycard. I also grabbed the banana and the penthouse keycard and then I went to the 4th floor and I went outside to the female maintenance worker. I took her out and was spotted by the guard, so I also took him out and dumped the bodies. Next I will place the explosive golf ball between the other balls and will make a lot of audio distractions near Ingram. Ingram would get mad and he wanted to play some golf. He of course would hit the explosive golf ball and exploded. I then took out his 2 bodyguards, then I will trigger the evacuation and place the banana peel at the edge of the building and waited for Stuyvesant. After a few minutes or so, he would come with a parachute and it didn't work. So I did the same thing 3 more times and it wouldn't work at all. I think even if he would slip, he would just be unconscious on the ground. So if you find a way to make him slip and die, I would love to see that. But for now, only Ingram could be taken out pacifist. In Death in the Family you find yourself in the most depressing place ever, Dartmoor, England. Your target is the last Providence partner, Alexa Carlisle, and you need to take the case file on the Constant. Maybe you already know, but Alexa could commit suicide, but I didn't thought of that at the time. I already made footage and it has already taken a lot of time to make this video, but I'm still a bit of pacifist, so it doesn't really matter. So in the beginning I will take out the 4 security guards and the private investigator and took his disguise. I had already brought a crowbar with me and took out the fuse of the fuse box outside. I would make a leak near the fountain with the photographer and expose the wire. I put in the fuse so the lights of the photographer had power and the staff member called down the whole Carlisle family for a family photo. Once everyone arrived, Alexa would give a little speech and sit down for the photo. Once the photographer took the photo, Alexa would get electrocuted and I would get a nice pacifist kill. So, Apex Predator, you need to take out 5 random ICA agents out of 10. I just couldn't do this, so I'm giving up. There's no way that I can eliminate 5 targets pacifist, so that is 5 targets down the drain. Let's just hope that An Era would treat us better. So yes, An Era did treat us better, but let's just see how. So your targets are Imogen Royce, ICA analyst, and Hush, former cyber terrorist. Let's begin with Hush. So in order to eliminate Hush pacifist, I would need to be the test subject. So I went in the room and took him out. I went to sit down in a fancy chair for tests, but one of the scientists wouldn't put the machine so high that it would be critical for Hush. So I took her out. The other scientist would put the machine at critical risks, so all I needed to do was resist Hush from getting into my brain and his brain would just overload and he would die. Easy enough. Royce took a little longer though. First I needed to pick up the P41 form from the board member, so I put in the code to his apartment and I could take the form. Then I disguised myself as a chef and grabbed the rat poison from the toilet and poisoned the board member's food. I subdued him in the toilet and took his disguise. After one long tour, I would have access to the room where I could fire some employees, which had their own consequences. First I fired a woman that would turn off the safety features and the core, then I would fire the guard at the core. Once Royce was in the core, I fired the employee who would cleanse the core and Royce would go up in flames. That is another mission completed fully pacifist. The farewell is the last open world mission in Hitman 3, because the last one takes place on a train, where you need to eliminate Don Archibald Yates, who is the current favorite to become the Constant, and Tamara Vidal, a former CIA operative. First I took care of Yates. I went down in the basement of his mansion, opened the safe in the back with the code 2006, which had some evidence that Yates kinda destroyed the life of his wife, so I gave it to his wife. His wife was furious and after one long argument she would push Yates over the balcony. Vidal was next, which was also very easy. I grabbed a spoiler's earpiece and a god show disguise, so I could scan a target with the sniper team would shoot. So I scanned Vidal, gave the order and bam, Vidal dead. Which leaves us at the final mission. In Untouchable you find yourself on a train because Diana poisoned you. At first it looked like a betrayal, but it was actually Diana's plan for 47 to be at the same location as the one and only Constant. So the train part is just the train part, nothing to say about that. When you finally confront Arthur Edwards though, you have three choices. Inject Edwards with the serum.
What are you doing? No! No!
This is what it means to lose everything.
You're making a mistake.
It's mine to make.
Oh. Forgive me, I seem to have, what were we talking about?
Don't worry. We were done.
Kill him. Or inject yourself.
Second thoughts. Perhaps we understand each other after all. Go on then, free yourself. Lucas Gray was haunted by his humanity. But freedom from choice is also freedom. Everything is so much simpler in black and white. Thank you, my friend. I will take care of you now. All will be well. Wake up. Wake up, my friend. It's the dawn of a new day, and you have things to do.
Two of the three options are pacifist, so yeah, you can take them out pacifist. So, 23 out of the 46 targets can be eliminated pacifist. That is half of the targets. I really thought there will be less targets that can be eliminated pacifist. And there's also 5 mass. I really hope that you liked the video. If you can, then please consider liking or even subscribing. And I hope to see you in the next video and have a good rest of the day.